morning, everybody. Welcome to a fresh new week. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Melbourne weather has been sunny, hot, and we have done a ton of house projects this weekend gone. Stuart said to me, when are we going to wait for all of these little projects until after retreat, which is this weekend? And I said, nah, I want to be outside. I want to do all of this stuff and feel like I've achieved. So I have oiled the bamboo fence. I have pressure cleaned the decks, and the cars has been washed, and he fixed the spa and redid the spa, and we did a hell of a lot of stuff over the weekend. So I'm excited to be back in the business seat today and bring you this topic. I guess it was inspired a little bit about the launch and the release of the Fully Booked Retreats book last week. As I've been running events now for 8.5 years, I thought I'd share some wisdom and insight from having done them repetitively year after year. I self-host 50 events every year. I speak at another 50. So on average over the last 8.5 years, I think I've either spoken at or hosted over 500 events. And I just wanted to connect with you guys, as a lot of you who do follow me and learn from me are running your own events and or workshops or whatever it is. At the very least, some of my authors need to put on their own their own book launch. And I thought I'd just share the 10 things that I see new event organizers make and what to look out for. So I trust this will be valuable. Hey, Nat, I actually caught you live. Yes, you did. So 9 a.m. every Monday morning, I'm here live with you guys. And then 9:30, I'm live into my secret authors community for some secret squirrel business. So before we get going, let me just do the share in a couple of the groups that also this goes out live at the same time. That's why I always jump on 2 or 3 minutes before 9 a.m. so I can do the share as it all happens all at the very same time. So we're just going to share into Ultimate Business Support Group, which is a massive group of 15,000 business owners, and then into your Author Your Way to Riches group, which is about 2,000 wannabe or are already authors that I host as well. So here we go, those couple of groups get this live as well. So if you have any questions as we're going through, or you're loving this, please feel free to share it and give me a like, give me a love heart. I love all the interaction that happens on these calls. I'm coming to you on my very new Mac computer, and it's like massive. It's a 27-inch screen, as I purchased it due to my other one. Well, my other one was 7 years old. Love Mac computers. I mean, they last forever, and that one's still good. So that one's set up here for my incoming PA that will be starting with us very, very soon. So I'll be making my decision by Wednesday. Thanks for the love hearts, Nat. Good morning, Amy. All right, guys, so let's go through this list of 10 things that new event organizers make and how to avoid it, or what to look out for as you plan to start doing events, or perhaps you already have done so. And if anything random comes up that's event related, please give me a question, and I'll make sure I can see it on this massive screen. I mean, it's just so big. I almost have to look so far away to actually look at the comments on it. All right, number one. So I've got my little list here. I always keep my lists in front of me, and actually I was very pre-prepared on the cruise we recently went on with Mum. I actually brainstormed about 26 topics that I can talk on live with Nat on Mondays, and because sometimes I would be thinking about it in the shower, what to talk to you guys about and what to teach you on the day, and now I've got this backup stash of content that I can just pull out. All right, so number one on my list is too short of a lead up time to the event. So I've made this mistake before, whereby in the very, very early days, I would think, oh, okay, I need to put on an event. Oh, maybe it'll happen like in 10 days, 5 days time. And then I would scramble around to organize everything and make it happen and all that sort of stuff. And that's very, very stressful. So when you're running a business that's based on events, you need to oh gosh, Amy, she's upgraded to 32 in screen. when you're running events, you need to plan well in advance what your schedule is going to look like. You don't have to do a full year ahead if you're new at it, because sometimes things shift and you want to do things differently. But what you need to do is at least plan 4 months ahead of time what events maybe you're going to put on. Start off with 4 months, build it up to 6 months, and then, of course, if you can do 12 months at a time. Nowadays, we kind of know what's happening. In 2019, we already knew what our events schedule was going to look like halfway to 2018. So I kind of knew where things are going to be at. But that's when you establish yourself and you have a really good routine, and you have found the system that truly works for you. So therefore, you can schedule stuff. But however, I always allow times where I can have flexibility within my calendar, whether it is to add on some extra events or to remove particular locations or change my mind if I don't want to go somewhere, but well ahead of time, so I have never started even promoting it. So too short of a lead up period time is a big mistake. People think they can turn around an event in 1 to 2 weeks, whereas when you're new, I would probably suggest that you have at least a 6-week lead up period, and you can reduce it then down to 4. However, the promotions or putting stuff out there should occur from about 6 weeks out. And certainly, even before then, you might want to already have figured out where is going to be my venue, like all of the other bits and pieces before the promotions actually begin for the event. So that's one thing that makes people also then not have enough people in the room and not do the correct promotional activities to make that event a success. Yes, there is a lot of work to do with the event versus the event itself. Probably that's 3 to 5% of the work executing the event, and 95% is what people actually don't see, and how much effort goes behind the scenes in that whole lead up period to make it a success. And this is why, leveraging to events is super powerful, but are you willing, the question is, are you willing to do the work that is necessary to put all of these events on, and to risk, even not having an outcome after a particular event, as it can happen. So that's my number one mistake of why people, the 10 mistakes that I see new event organizers make. So how to overcome it is always start planning 6 to 8 weeks ahead, have your venues organized, and then promotionals from 6 weeks and down to 4 weeks once you get really savvy at it. All right, number 2, a mistake that new event organizers make is running events for free. Okay, thinking I'm going to, obviously, if I run a free event, so many people are going to want to come to it because everyone loves something for free. And as much as there is a lot of free events out there, I believe they work really, really well for people who are really established and that actually know the reality of the show up rate at free events, which is around the 10 to 20% of people registering for a free event will turn up. So let's pretend 100 people registered for your event, then only generally 10, 20 if you're lucky people will turn up, even with all of the follow-up people, follow-up you can do, like pre-event follow-up. So in the past, when we have tried free events, we have done phone calls, SMSs, pre-homework prior to the event, email sequences to ensure people are reminded enough that this event is coming up, and still the show-up rates are about 10 to 20%. I would have pages and pages of people who have registered, but only 10 to 20% of people turn up. So that's a lot of effort and a lot of promotional dollars that you may spend to attract these people to a free event. However, also another thing why free events are not so effective is because it is very, very hard to upsell someone from free to something paid. That's why I believe a low cost ticket into your event is a lot better choice, because you're going to have over 80% of people turn up versus the 10 to 20% of a list. You might be thinking, oh my God, I need a venue for 100 people because 100 people have registered, and then you turn up and only 10 people turn up. So please, if you're going to do a free event, just take the 10 to 20% rule of thumb and expect that many people will turn up. And even so, you still should do a serious amount of reminders, emails, SMSs, pre-homework kind of bits and pieces to the people who registered, so that they have that more commitment to turn up. If they've done a little bit of pre-homework, if they've responded to you, they've started to build that relationship a little bit, and therefore they're more likely to show up. So my opinion and my experience with free events is that they suck. Well, not that they suck. I've been to other people's free events, but they suck shit for the organizer, because they don't, the people don't have the commitment. It's hard to do an upsell from a free event. Please don't be surprised if you walk away not having any result. And then, of course, you've invested money to promote, to have the venue, all of those kind of things. So for new event organizers, put on a low-cost event. Even if you charge $19, $29, $49, what's the price point? And the entry price point should always be less than $100. Okay, guys, number 3. Even if it's a paid event, sometimes people who are new or event organizers think if it's a paid event and I've sold 7 or 10 tickets or whatever, 20, however many you've sold, that everyone will turn up. Well, no, they don't. Even when people pay, they don't show up. Okay, so of course, sometimes it's emergencies, sometimes it's other things happening in their life, and sometimes it's resistance. They might get nervous about going to this event, especially if it's a transformational kind of subject. I know with my topic of authoring and writing your first book, a lot of resistance comes up in people's lives, and they don't end up turning up to the event. Sometimes 2 or 3 times they'll buy tickets and they still won't turn up because they're too scared to, I guess, hear that particular message. Okay, so what's the average of people not turning up to a paid event? I would expect up to 20%. For the last 4 years, I have rigorously tested and seen who turns up, who didn't turn up, what's the overall percentage of those people. And I can tell you, across doing 50 events every year, that 20% on average throughout the whole year don't turn up from the paid tickets. So let's say if we sold 1,000 tickets this year, 800 people were turned up to the events and 200 people did not show up. Sometimes without a reason, sometimes with reasons, emergencies, and so that's the normal no-show rate that I have experienced, okay? And I have written about this, so do expect that, whenever I go to a city and I've got 30 or 40 people coming, and go, okay, 4 or 5 are most likely not going to show up. So as we're registering people, if we're up to sort of like 80% capacity, it's pretty much most people that will be there on the day. So that's also reality. So free event, you're going to have 10 or 20% show up. Paid event, you're going to have about 10 to 20% not show up. So just expect that to be the case. And rather than going, okay, everyone's paid, everyone should turn up, they really don't. not all the time. Okay. Number 4, lacking enough promotional efforts to get bums on seats. Of course, being a new event organizer, you would have less skill and knowledge around what to do. And this is why Francesca and I wrote the book Bums on Seats, How to Prepare, Promote and Profit from Webinars, Seminars and Retreats, and also why I wrote Fully Booked Retreats, which we launched last week. However, people think, if I just put it on Facebook, if I just tell a few people, it'll be right. And then they leave everything, on dormant. They launch the event, they do a bit of a promotion, and then they do nothing up until a week out, going, oh my God, I've only got 2 people registered. What am I going to do? Should I cancel the event? I don't know what to do, and then they start to scramble to do different things. The promotions should be happening all of the time in the full lead-up period. And the promotions should, and Drilla likes sharing my statistics. That's because you're the numbers lady. You love your numbers. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, promotional efforts in terms of bums on seats need to be a combination of various activities. So of course there's free activities, there's paid activities in terms of promotional efforts. When you're a new event organizer, you need to hustle that much harder because most likely you are doing things that are generally free promotional activities. You're trying to reach out to people who might be able to promote your event or collaborate with you. Perhaps you're posting on social media, you know, wherever appropriate. You're putting up an event. You're, you know, spreading it across different social platforms. You're going out networking. You're telling people about your event when you're networking. You're working out any special deals for tickets, for buddies, for bundles. You know, there's so many different ways. You know, putting your event on Eventbrite, which is also a free platform to promote your event. Funny enough, the reason I mentioned Eventbrite because this year we have had a significant amount of tickets purchased from there. Apparently, the more you put your events up on there, the more they will prioritize and advertise them, sort of make them more visible for people. I used to think it was just kind of like a ticket purchasing platform, but we have actually had quite a few tickets purchased this year for the various cities. So I say to fill an event, you should be doing 10 different things. Here's another number for you, Andrew. Like 10 different ways. You know, your email list, your database, like sequences of emails. You know, of course, paid advertising is one avenue, but if you cannot afford to do paid advertising, well, then you don't do paid advertising. You tussle with all of the other things that are out there available to you. What do you think about hosting an event to say 47 and having it includes a copy of your book? Or is it better to save things like that for the upsell and bundle gift? Amy, actually, I've always bundled my book into my event ticket. However, I never told people they were getting the book. It was always a surprise when they actually came into the room. So that kind of was a little bit of a wow factor. Oh, really? I get a book? Wow, thank you. Lately, we changed our event into 2 ticketing categories: general admission, which is $49.87 for our VIP ticket, and it is the VIP ticket holders that get the book and 3 or 4 other bonuses. So you can structure an event like that as well. And that has worked really, really well because you can also see who are the really serious people in terms of, you know, wanting to find out the information, and yeah, you can position them differently. We gave them front row seating and all that kind of stuff, and a recorded footage of the workshop, so you can bundle things like that up a lot better as well. So 10 different ways to promote your event, as well as then of course you don't have to hustle as hard all of the time, but learn the foundational stuff, guys. Learn the stuff that if paid efforts fell off the face of the earth and they did not work any longer, what the hell do you need to do to get more bums on seats into your events? You know, will you know? Because it's easy to advertise on Facebook, you know, and go, okay, I'll put this many dollars, this is how many people are going to get. And you can get to that point, certainly. I have to say, and I have to admit, in the last 2 or 3 years, well, we've been doing Facebook ads for 3.5, almost 4. Definitely in the last 2, however, we have been reliant more than 90% on, not 90%, I think 80% on new faces and new people coming into our events through Facebook ads. However, should all of that slow down off the face of the earth and doesn't work any longer, I know exactly what I need to do to continue filling my rooms and events. Of course, now that I have more time to be able to do other things to refine and scale up the business, then that, of course, that time is more valuable spent on those things rather than getting bums on seats. Of course, ultimately the point is, and this is what Francesca teaches others, is to get that bums on seats done for you by either your virtual assistant team or your advertising team, so that you can focus on servicing your clients. So there, you know, initially you need to refine those strategies and see what works for you, so that you can instruct and outsource it to people who will work for you and execute those, because it is very time draining and time draining and energy draining, constantly having to fill events and fill them and think about them and how many people do I have in this city, blah, blah, blah. it changes, right? At this point, I don't need to think about those things. I get a report every now and again how many people have booked in, where we're at. Do we still have events that are not as full as we would like? Yeah, like, so it happens. Sometimes it's the time of the year, something that happens in a town or a city that we didn't know was happening, and we don't get as many people in the room. But that's okay. It averages out at a certain number. Same thing as the no-show rates and all that, cancellations. Same thing happens in terms of event attendance and your average numbers per event. All right, number 5 is lack of pre and post event systems and logistics. Okay, so new event organizers think, okay, I'll put on an event. It's happening at this time. They'll announce it. As we said, everyone likes to do the announcement of the event, and then you hear crickets for a little while. However, there's so many steps that you actually need to complete to ensure that you do get that 80% turn up rate, and to ensure that you do get in paid events, and to ensure that you do get the 10 to 20% turn up rate in free events, right? You still have to do you have to systematically organize a communications journey, if you like, with your event participant that happens from pre-event. And we generally start our sequencing from 10 days out, and it goes all the way to about 10 days after the event, pre and post. Whether it's reminder emails, logistics about the event, SMS confirmations, thank you emails, post-event sequences, to ensure that you make the most out of making sure people turn up, but making sure people also have the information that you need to impart on them, as well as overcoming your objections around the thing that you have presented as your offer after the event. So just think about what is it, I'll just give you a sample of what we do, and it's written in the Fully Booked Retreats book anyway. But we do a 10-day out email, a 3-day out email, a 24-hour out email, a 3-day out SMS. If they haven't responded yes to that SMS, they'll get sent a second one at 24 hours out. If they haven't responded to that, they will get a phone call to confirm, are you coming, which reduces the number right down. It might be 1 or 2 people by the time you get to the phone call. And then we have a thank you email that goes out during the event. We have a no-shows email that also goes straight after the event. And then we have a sequence of 5 different educational emails that address customer objections and give them further information after the event. We also send out a postcard with our yay photo after the event that they get in the mail 7 to 10 days afterwards. And anything that we have promised, or we connect with people on social media, invite them to join the groups and, the Author Your Way to Riches groups, and to stay in touch, because sometimes they may not be ready to buy from you that particular day. But I have had definitely people who have remained in my community, following me and referring people. If it wasn't them that they needed to buy my stuff or wanted my stuff, if I have done a great job and I have built great rapport and built a relationship, then I have often had people who have not purchased from me but then refer someone to me that ends up doing my program. Awesome. All right, so you need to have, and this is what lacks, it's like then they go, nothing much turned up from that event. And I said, well, did you actually do all of these steps? Did you remind people? Did you give them all the information? Did you follow up? All that kind of stuff. So make sure that you are doing a pre and post event sequencing of emails, of text messages. I guess don't be a pest. Yeah, but it's never, people do appreciate being reminded, because it is a busy world. And those, like the less than 0.01% of people go, oh my God, you stopped messaging me and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. There's always going to be, the rule is that you are always going to have someone that's going to express a complaint or whatever. So just like we said, those percentages earlier in the call of people that turn up and don't turn up, to events, you're going to have the percentage of people that are always going to whinge and complain and don't like something, or this was this way or this was that way. So just take it as a rule of thumb. And I think I talked about this on a live a few weeks back, that it's a rule of thumb that in life you're always going to have those 5 to 10% of people that are just not going to be able to be made happy, and they're going to whinge and they're going to call you, whatever, and they're going to be your trolls, or, just take it as a rule of thumb and just go, you're in the 5%. Let's keep focusing on the other 95%. All right, so number 6 is crappy coffee and event name. Why did I say, oh yeah, there's 10 things. I was going to say it's only 8 things on my list, but no, there's 10. Crappy event name and copy. So often people, when they promote their event, it doesn't really say what the event is about. I'm just going to check what time is it. Oh, I'm running out of time because I'm just going to be somewhere at 9:30 when I'll go through this faster. Okay, so the event sounds too fluffy, not specific enough. You don't know what problem the person is solving. It's like, you know, let's just get together. It sounds like just a social activity rather than a solution to a problem, right? And so what I encourage you to do is think about, what are people whinging about when they come to see you? You know, what is that they see within you that they want for themselves? You know, if they could wave a magic wand, what outcome or result can you deliver to them in the fastest way possible? Sell that. Use hypnotic words, hypnotic language, phrases. You know, sell what they want, not what they need, okay? So make sure that everything that you're writing is using powerful language and solving a solution that people have and are very aware of, you know. So stop being fluffy, right? There's a lot of coaches, health and wellness practitioners, people from that sphere that listen to me, have followed me, and I see so much fluff out there that does not say anything to anybody. So find your thing and make it your own. Can you put a number around your thing? You know, how can you word your outcomes so that we all understand? And even if you said, what is your workshop about, to a kid, you know, they would understand once you told it to them, rather than going, oh, what does that mean? What does self-empowerment and you know, mean, and enlightenment and all that kind of stuff? Make it something that is more targeted to the ego, because the ego at the end of the day will buy. And then when they're in your workshop, you give to the soul, and you give that empowerment, enlightenment, whatever health and wellness strategies you want to give them. All right, number 6. Actually, yeah, that was number 6. Crappy coffee event name. Number 7, well, leads into from number 6. People sell the need, not the want. Okay, people sell the need, not the want. And the way I've always, you know, sort of explained people in weight loss terms, people need to goal set and get organized and eat the right nutrition and know what kind of, you know, movement is the correct one for them. That's what they need. But what they want, what do they want? They want to lose 5 kilos in 3 minutes while eating chocolate. Okay, that's what they want. That's what perhaps needs to be your workshop title: how to lose 5 kilos in 3 minutes while eating chocolate. Would you come to that, right? And so make sense of it. You know, every time you sit down to write your event copy, am I selling the need or am I selling the want? Am I selling to the ego or am I selling to the soul, right? Because you give to the soul, you still got to give them all the fluff stuff and the good stuff, right? But you got to sell to their top of mind problem that's keeping them awake at night. And perhaps if you've always solved, if you have solved this problem for yourself, you will know exactly what's keeping them awake at night. Okay? So my coaching school, when I joined them 8.5 years ago, you know, if they told me, okay, come and become a coach with us and we are going to teach you how to market yourself, how to learn to sell, how to build a successful business, you know, where you need to, you know, really put in the hours, you know, to learn technology and all these programs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, right. You know, too hard basket. No one buys a too hard basket. That sold me on the phrase 6 figures, part-time hours. That's it. 6 figures, part-time hours. That's all I needed to hear. And that was my ego buying into that idea. Then when I went in, I go, oh, shit, you're going to learn this, you're going to learn that, you're going to get better in all of these areas. And then I started that journey of 80 hours a week over the first couple of years until I got the business off the ground, okay? So you sell to the ego, you sell the want, and then you give the need. You don't leave you don't keep talking about the ego stuff. The 48-hour author, you guys, that is the magic bullet. But is there a little bit more work involved beyond the fact that we go to this 48-hour author retreat we're going to this weekend, right? Yes, there is a lot more work involved. However, we want to make sure that, yes, the system is integral to what it is, but if you want to make success of your book, you still got to learn all the book promotional activities and marketing and how to expand and leverage beyond that book. And that's where there's more time involved than 48 hours. Okay, cool. Number 8, wasting time on admin. I have to say that in some cases, in some of my years, hey, Megan, I have been known to have delayed employing my virtual assistant to wait for way too long. I did not have a virtual assistant for 4 years in my business. And I just waited and waited and waited too long because I had not written systems, for example. That was my excuse. And when you're running events, you need someone who's going to do all that nitty-gritty admin work, those pre-event emails, those post-event, because you've got to focus either on the promotions first of all, so get rid of the admin so you can put in more time on your promotions, and on your execution and sales, right? So get a virtual assistant, go on Upwork, find someone in the Philippines or wherever you're going to find them and start working with one. I've had my beautiful Lindy for 3 years now. We're going solid. She knows my event systems inside out, and basically I just have to turn up because Stuart's in charge of promoting, managing the Facebook ads and all of that sort of stuff, putting the events on Eventbrite. She's in charge of admin, and now, as you guys know, I'm hiring a PA who's going to be here next to me, my right-hand woman, and she's going to be in charge of packing and unpacking me and printing stuff here physically of what we need to print off for events, which means I literally just got to wheel out my bag, go and do my stuff, which is where I need to exert my energy, be at my top 100%, and the rest is done and handled by the team. Sometimes, yes, in the early days, you cannot have that, but you work up to it, and I think definitely everyone can get a virtual assistant sooner rather than later, as it is highly affordable for us to have someone to outsource some of the administrative tasks that can be done through the internet. All right, number 9 is giving up after 1 to 3 events. Okay, so a lot of people go, oh, events, I just don't get it. They don't work for me. Only 5 or 6 people ever turn up. It's it's not. It just I don't know if I'm and they talk themselves out of it. And they've only tried 1 to 3 times, right? You've got to persist at something. I've always said this. There's a rule of thumb that it takes 2 years of focused action, consistent effort, not just sitting on it and thinking about it, but actually being involved and doing it over and over again until you reach a tipping point where you will become consistently more successful and see amazing, amazing exponential results, okay? 2 years is a long time. And it's also been said that it takes 2 to 3 years or 1,000 times of repetition for you to build a new neural pathway, okay? A new neural pathway in whatever you want to do. This is why 3 years ago, actually, I'm coming up to my 3-year anniversary with my personal trainer, who I decided to hire 3 years ago, December, I think it was. So it's literally on the 3-year mark. And I said, I'm going to commit to this relationship for a minimum of 2 to 3 years, and I will commit to doing exercise 4 times a week because I want to build a new neural pathway. I knew this from my studies, and I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm sitting here in front of you today, pretty much on the 3-year anniversary mark, saying I've done it. I have not missed a week of 4 times exercise a week, and I'm still with my personal trainer 3 years later. Can I imagine my life now without doing exercise? No, not at all. Whereas in the past, it was 3 or 4 weeks of exercise, 6 months of no exercise, 3 or 4 weeks of exercise, 6 months of no exercise, right? So now it's like brushing my teeth. Same thing with event management. If you put in the effort consistent, now it's like, how can I not even run events? It's like, it's weird. I wouldn't even know how to run my business in a different way. It's almost, this is the way, right? So make it the way for you by having the repetition. Were my events small in the first 2 years? Yes, probably most of them were under 10 people in attendance. But the thing is, some of them I did really well, and sometimes I had huge conversion rates, maybe 50 to 60% in the room. Sometimes one time I had a 100%. Sometimes more intimate events can have a higher conversion rate as well. So that's something you have to consider, but you have to keep doing it, because people need to see you're going to be around. And if they can't come to the previous event, I've had people come into the future events, months or years later, going, oh my God, I've been seeing your event for ages now, it's finally turned up. All right, and last one, number 10, is feel they failed if only a few people come. So new event organizers, they can feel they failed if only a few people come, and that is not true, and it's completely aligned with the previous thing that I just said. Just do and turn up for everyone that does. I've done an event in front of one person before. I've done events in front of 2 or 3 people on multiple occasions. And you know what? You never cancel an event. You turn up, you do your thing, and guess what? You get better at talking. And then you can talk like, till the cows come home. I think that's the saying. All right. So, guys, it's past 9:30. I have to go. I need to do this other thing. By the way, book sold like hotcakes, so fully booked retreats. If you didn't get a copy, go on Amazon. If you want a physical one, just private message me. And this thing starts next Monday. Okay, so this planner starts next Monday to be able to be used. So the 27th or whatever of November. So if you don't have your hands on this, I'll pop the link in the live. And there's pink and black. I think black I've got 20 left. Pink, I think I've got about 70 left. So go get your hands on it. Mine's already set up. I can't wait. 1 week to go, and we're starting a new planner. All right, gorgeous people. I will see you next Monday. Have an amazing week. Smash it out. And if you have questions about anything that I've said in all of this, and tell me if you like the mistakes, or maybe tell me which one you may have made in the past or you're making, and what you're going to do to overcome it. Love being with you together. Can I pick mine up at retreat? Yes, Megan. Just tell me what color and I'll bring it. I'll actually ask all retreat people what they want so I can bring the exact number with me to retreat so you don't have to get it posted. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, guys.